On this episode of Mythbusters,
I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
Buster takes the hot seat in the Mojave Desert for the myth of the Ming Dynasty astronaut.
Oh, this is gonna be a good day.
Adam and Jamie play mad scientist in the quest for free energy.
There ought to be a law against that.
And will Adam's stunt double lose its head at the hands of the killer fan?
Oh, that is horrifying.
Who are the Mythbusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Hyneman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Adam, Christine, it's so hot out here. What are we doing here?
Well, we had to come to the middle of nowhere to be able to test the myth of the Ming Dynasty astronaut. The story goes that a 15th century Chinese astrologer decided to see if he could launch himself into space. So he strapped 47 rockets around the base of his throne and had 47 people light 47 fuses all at once. And when they did, apparently, he went up in a puff of smoke. They claimed that he got into space. We're here to see if he did.
According to legend, Ming Dynasty astrologer Wan Hu used newly invented gunpowder rockets in an attempt to become the world's first astronaut in around 1500 AD. Adam and Jamie hit the trail of this ancient myth at Bamboo Sorcery, a little piece of the Orient in the heart of California.
Jamie,
Yeah.
does this remind you when you were fighting in the Foreign Legion in Dien Bien Phu?
In China, this giant-sized grass grows wild and has long been harvested for making furniture, buildings, and rockets. They're looking for bamboo with an internal diameter of 1.5 inches.
Yes, I mean, that's like 1 3/4 inches. It's a 1/4 inch over on the inside. Let's get it.
Yeah.
They need enough for 47 rockets, each one a foot in length and stuffed with gunpowder, which is Adam's idea of heaven.
No, I'm totally psyched. I can't wait to see how this thing goes.
This myth is shaping up to be another one of those kid candy store kind of deals.
This is perhaps the least safe cabinet in the shop, and of course, the most fun. The fire cabinet.
Using an ancient Chinese recipe, they cook up some experimental gunpowder. The traditional ingredients are combined with roofing tar, which acts as a binder.
What could be better? I'm making my own fireworks. Remember, kids, no matter how much fun I'm having, under no circumstances should you try this at home. With this amount of gunpowder, the heat generated inside this is going to be considerable, so I'm actually wrapping it in twine to kind of add to its structural integrity. This is actually how the Chinese did their rockets, so I'm going to do the same.
When the rocket is ready, it's outside for a test firing. A force gauge will measure the amount of thrust.
If you are successful with this, you're supposed to get like, what, about 50 pounds of thrust out of it?
Well, if I achieved the exact formulation of a modern rocket, yes.
If Adam's right, these should be some fireworks.
Guys, remember, we can't let our guard down on
Yeah,
this. This
I
is where
understand.
this becomes a bomb. Okay, I'm gonna go down and watch traffic. I don't need to be right here.
So let's all just step back a little from this one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like here.
Yeah, go ahead.
In 3, 2, 1.
Blast off is a letdown. The rocket has barely half a pound of thrust. Not enough to lift itself off the ground, let alone a payload.
We got like an 80-second burn time here.
1.56. Too slow.
Jamie, I think we proved conclusively that the Chinese had Roman candles.
Takeoff is canceled. Adam goes back to his mixing bowl to see if he can spice things up a little.
There we go. I'm trying to come up with a more energetic mixture of gunpowder to make a good ye olde Chinese rocket. There's no change in the ingredients with these mixtures. It's only the ratios of the ingredients: the saltpeter, the charcoal, and the sulfur. I'm having too much fun.
Adam selects his most potent mixtures and heads back to the test pad.
In this line of questioning, the only way to know without being educated is just to keep on trying different formulations. And at a certain point, we have to stop and just, blow up.
3, 2, 1.
Kind of a boom there.
It just blew the plug out, I think. I guess it was a little too aggressive.
Apparently. 0.29 pounds. Okay, here we go. So we still haven't come up with a rocket engine that could lift itself.
Not yet.
That's pretty good. 3, 2, 1, go.
Looking good.
0.77, well, that's the best burn yet. I think we need to get some professional help. And then I think we need some rocket experts.
They've had help from rocket experts before. In the first ever episode of Mythbusters, the Friends of Amateur Rocketry helped Adam and Jamie soup up a Chevy, and then some. Now, the Mythbusters are set to call in the Rocketeers once more for the myth of the Ming Dynasty astronaut. But first, a bit of carpentry.
I'm making the legs for my Ming Dynasty chair. It's got to look like an emperor's throne circa 15th century China. It's just the kind of project I like to sink my teeth into that's kind of like relaxing respite from all the science.
Determined to get someone airborne somehow, Adam's making not one rocket chair, but two. In line with the myth, the first will be powered by 47 traditional Chinese rockets. In line with Mythbusters, the second will be powered by 47 of something very modern and very dangerous.
I know I'm using nail guns, I know. But it's not really about the technology of the chairs. It's about how far the emperor went.
The chairs have got to look right, and with the clock ticking, it's all hands on the Mythbusters deck.
The little tiny mold is a little detail for the Ming Dynasty chair. We're making little tiles to decorate it with, and this is a little Adam and Jamie tile.
The ornate chairs will look the part, but they're also designed with flight in mind.
One of the key design aspects of the chair is actually these two pieces right here. The reason I did it in 2 levels, I found a chair just like that, and it works perfectly for us because I can strap the rocket in here, and that rocket will be slightly cantilevered out so that all around the chair the rockets are pointing slightly out, which hopefully will provide a little more stability as he shoots towards the sky.
Then it's pink undercoat, red overcoat, and a final touch of gold to render the chairs fit for an astronaut.
Oh, Adam, perfect.
Well, in all the myths we've done, Jamie, we've never compiled a file on a story this thick. Free energy is a personal best.
Yeah, it gives me a headache just looking at it.
I mean, I don't see any way that we can test all of these claims. Everything from harnessing the power of the orgone to testing the efficacy of juvenile water.
Free energy has long been a favorite of mad scientists.
What a good scene, isn't it? One man crazy, 3 very sane spectators.
The movie version usually involves a dastardly scheme which turns upon the crazed inventor's ability to suck hair-raising quantities of energy from the environment, free, gratis, and for nothing.
It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
But can Adam and Jamie find a way to cut their power bill? Our very own mad scientists have downloaded plans for free energy devices from the internet and are going to test them out with the help of Dr. Geo Homsey of MIT. First up, a contraption which, it is claimed, can suck energy from the curvature of space.
Gentlemen, what we have here is a G-strain amplifier, which I built from parts you find at Radio Shack.
G-strain, as opposed to F-strain.
The G-strain amplifier looks suspiciously like what we on planet Earth call a ring oscillator, something you might find in a flashing bicycle light. In this experiment, a lithium battery is hooked up to a motor. An identical battery is hooked up to a motor and a so-called G-strain amplifier. According to the plans, the second motor will keep running longer by drawing on the cosmic energy of the universe. Use the force, guys. Myth-turned-Christine is roped in to keep her eye on the experiment.
Okay, is there any paint you want me to watch dry as well?
No, just watch carefully, and then the minute that it stops, let us know and hit the timer, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So now we wait in the name of science.
Well, we're up to 40 minutes, and I'm still not asleep. It's still going.
Then, in an intriguing development, one motor slows down. Could free energy be keeping the other going? No dice. It's the free energy motor that's on the wane.
That means that this is not free energy, it's using energy. Yeah.
Far from recharging the battery, the G-strain amplifier is draining it. The experiment is left to run all day, just in case cosmic energy makes a late appearance. Don't hold your breath.
Okay, so it's been a day. Have we managed to suck power from the curvature of space?
Well, I see one motor going and one motor not going. And guess what? The motor that's not going is the free energy device.
So could we, from here on in perpetuity, stop referring to this as a G-strain amplifier and call it a ring oscillator?
Ring oscillator? I'd be happy to do that.
So this one, busted, we can put it to bed, and now
Busted.
let's send our lawyers after the guys who charge us $25 for this little diagram.
Officially, the first Earthling to leave the planet was Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin in 1961. Gagarin blasted into orbit at almost 18,000 miles per hour aboard the Vostok 1. But a Chinese legend claims that astrologer Wan Hu beat Gagarin into space aboard his rocket chair way back in 1500. There aren't many things you can't do in San Francisco, but space launching a Chinese astrologer is one of them. So the Mythbusters team heads for the hills and beyond to the Mojave Desert. Their cosmic convoy makes for the test area, where with a federal permit, you can put even the most explosive myths on trial. Like, did Wan Hu really win the space race? With the help of some friends of amateur rocketry, Mission Control has established a safe distance from the launch pad. But the savage desert heat is too much for one would-be rocketeer. It's going to be a long day for the redhead.
Hot.
To make sure the day goes off with a bang, the rocket experts have come equipped with a recipe for super-strength gunpowder. Adam's appetite for this myth is quickly restored.
You making pudding?
This is just like a cooking show.
Yeah.
To make 47 period rockets, sift a large helping of gunpowder and gently fold in a spoonful of tar.
And you'll find that if you add the sauce to the powder, you'll get a very explosive mix. Oh, yes, it's wonderful.
The stronger mixture is only half the story. The Rocketeers have also added a nozzle, which, by narrowing the exhaust aperture, increases the pressure inside the rocket. More pressure means more thrust and better performance, unless it all goes wrong, in which case you've got a bomb on your hands.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Woohoo!
That's perfect!
That's with the nozzle.
Oh, this is going to be a good day.
With the nozzle, the rocket's performance leaps to around 5 pounds of thrust. So the production line swings into gear. 47 rockets are packed, primed, and strapped to chair number 1.
Well, we're going to have close to 50 pounds of gunpowder sitting right here, and I guess we should be careful with it. So far, I have yet to see the gunpowder ignite itself, but I guarantee you if I saw any kind of smoldering or anything, I'm leaving very quickly.
At ground control, opinion about the likely outcome is divided.
We're not even going to see this thing. It's just going to go poof, and there's going to be an enormous cloud of smoke. And
I think it'll go up about 10 feet and go poof.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
You think we'll have liftoff?
I think we'll have liftoff. I really honestly believe you will.
Meanwhile, another team is giving chair number 2 special treatment.
Just in case the Chinese had built some super efficient rockets back then, we have 47 what are called I motors, which are very powerful, 50-pound thrust, 12-inch long rockets, and we're going to attach 47 of those to the second chair to see what kind of launch he could have gotten if everything was as good as it could be.
Mythbusters veteran Eric Gates of the JATO rocket myth is impressed.
This is out on a limb. This is definitely one of the most far-reaching things that we've done with rocket motors. It should be a lot of fun to see one who actually take a trip.
So far, this myth is deficient in the Chinese astrologer department to the tune of 1. No prizes for guessing who gets to play the part of the daredevil Oriental astronaut.
We should put both legs in first, don't you think?
I think you might be right.
Or do you do it differently?
I put on my pants one leg at a time. Oh, he's a picture. He looks great.
Oh, I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
I think Buster, AKA Wan Hu, is ready for his launch.
And rocket chair number 1 is ready too.
This is the most dangerous part. 80 pounds of gunpowder, 22 idiots, 1 crash test dummy. Priceless.
In the myth of free energy, Adams found plans on the internet for a device that claims to suck power from solar rays.
I've got one here that I'm actually kind of jazzed about. It's basically a temperature wheel, sometimes called a Minto wheel after its inventor.
The temperature wheel consists of pairs of tanks joined by a pipe. Half of the tanks are filled with propane and placed in water. When the water is heated by the sun, the propane vaporizes and condenses in the top tanks, which become heavier, and the wheel rotates. The upshot? Free energy. Intoxicated by the sweet scent of power, Adam gets down to work. With world domination in his sights, he ropes in his evil accomplice and metal expert, Scotty.
Can you do a fillet weld in there, or do you have to, is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've bridged bigger gaps than that before.
Scotty welds at Adam slots, and before you can say, free energy my foot, the temperature wheel takes shape.
I'm not sure what it's going to do, but it looks cool.
Doesn't it though?
So you're going to put some kind of flammable liquid in all these and then light them all off at the same time?
Fill half of them full of propane, shoot a bullet, light it on fire, the whole thing like that. You know, what I can't wait for is the look on the guy's face when I bring these in to have them filled with propane.
There ought to be a law against that.
There probably is.
Make that definitely. Adam's not finding this such a gas after all.
Okay, sorry about that.
Free energy suddenly seems further away than ever as his temperature wheel springs a leak.
This is a problem because we've got propane leaking out of a hole. We can't weld that hole until we get rid of all the propane, like all of it. We have to go back to the shop now, and I don't know what the hell we're gonna do.
Back at base, a web-sourced free energy kit has arrived.
Finally, we got something that's not just plans, it's actually all the parts and the plans we need to tap into real free energy. Apparently, if you have this box hooked up to something like a 100-foot radio antenna, you can power a clock radio. I don't know, still seems like a 9-volt battery is a better bet.
Radio waves are a form of radiation and can be converted into electricity. But will it be enough to power a clock radio? First, Adam assembles the box. Then he rigs up a 100-foot-long horizontal antenna. Then he prepares to ground the device. He's about to find out the hard way that Jamie's warehouse is miswired. Now, there's no question that Adam's a bright spark.
That might have been, I don't know, a bad noise.
But he's no electrician.
I'm releasing the mysterious blue smoke here. The problem is, once you release the mysterious blue smoke, electronics don't work anymore. Luckily, we accidentally ordered 2 of these kits.
Adam soldiers on in the face of probable electrocution.
No, it's all a learning experience.
Radio Wave Energy Extractor Mark II.
Hey, Jamie, check this out. I hook up the antenna, I'm getting almost half a volt.
You know, it's probably enough to power the display on a digital watch.
Yeah, I think you would need about 1.5 volts or so.
Yeah.
And so that means that you would have to have 3 of these.
So, 3 large devices to power 1 tiny wristwatch. For free energy, it's pretty costly.
Free energy just doesn't seem that efficient to me. It's so cumbersome and takes so much energy to get the tiniest amounts of power. You might as well just go get a battery.
In the myth of the Ming Dynasty astronaut, 0 hour is approaching. When Wen Hu took the hot seat in 1500 AD, he had 47 assistants on hand to light the 47 fuses, which is where Adam and Jamie part company with tradition.
Guys, you're gonna hook up the wires, we're gonna clear the hell out. Let's everyone go that way.
The launch pad is cleared, and everyone retires to the bunker, from where the ignition switch can be thrown in relative safety. This may be the moment where Wen Hu began to have second thoughts.
It's kind of beautiful out here in an eerie way. It's like so serene and calm. Something very violent in the middle of all this serenity is about to happen.
Adam's tickled pink.
I'm staring at a Chinese-dressed crash test dummy on a throne strapped to 70 pounds of gunpowder. I just had another one of those Mythbusters moments.
For Buster, it's no laughing matter.
Okay, I'm gonna arm it.
He's arming the system. We're gonna fire in 10 seconds.
A centuries-old mystery is about to be solved. Will it be lift off or lights out?
2, 1.
Well, it was fast, whatever it was.
Just like Wen Hu, Buster's vanished. But he's no astronaut. In fact, he's toast.
Get the dummy before it goes.
His ass is on fire! And here I thought the elevator of death was the most damage he'd ever withstand. He is burnt to a crisp.
Buster's screwed. I think there's hardly a single patch of skin left on his body that is uncharred. And, you know, frankly, I don't think this is something that we can really fix. This time we're going to have to, like, start over from scratch with Buster. We might get some of his bones or something, but Buster is gone as we know him.
Buster, AKA Chinese astrologer, was completely obliterated. I mean, the amount of heat was just unfathomable.
A moment's silence for Wen Hu. The heat from the rockets caused multiple failure and a wipeout instead of a blast-off.
What we've just replicated is pretty identical to the eyewitness reports. 47 packed rockets, black powder, and Buster was taken to another world in a puff of smoke. As soon as Buster cools down enough and his flesh is no longer molten, we're going to put on this new Chinese suit on him, get out throne number 2, which has 47 brand new rockets strapped to it, and we're going to see what kind of lift Buster might have gotten in the best of all possible circumstances.
47 modern rockets should give almost 2,500 pounds of thrust. Buster weighs in at 180 pounds. This time, gravity's got a fight on its hands.
We have a fair suspicion that this chair is actually going to go somewhere. And so lest Buster just fall out in the first couple of feet, I thought we should probably anchor him a little better than we did the last time.
Looks like Buster's ready for the second shot.
Okay, everybody, you're gonna hear a countdown, and when the countdown goes, these rocket motors are gonna burn for 4.5 seconds. So be aware that this thing is gonna be going crazy. Just look out and stay away.
This is it, Buster. You're on your own.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, there you go. Well, he definitely got off the ground. Oh, my poor chair. Oh, man.
I'm glad we tied him in.
I think everything held as good as we could have asked it to hold.
Lost a leg.
Leg joints came off this time.
The high-speed camera shows Buster did get airborne before flipping over in a rocket-powered rodeo to oblivion.
Well, guys, I guess that's myth busted.
For one, there's no way you're going to get 47 rockets to fire at once in the Ming Dynasty, let alone how hard it was to do now.
Yeah, and even if you could, it's just going to go up in a fireball, you know?
And even if you got all of that to work perfectly, there's no way that this chair with these rockets is getting to 17,800 miles an hour and into orbit.
Yeah, myth busted.
Myth busted.
Completely.
Let's go home. I need to get into a pool.
What do you got there, Adam?
I have got the part of a really fun myth to test. It's actually a total classic. Can a ceiling fan, while it's spinning, chop your head off?
Nice.
Yeah, and the myth is actually told in usually a couple of different versions. In one, husband and wife are getting frisky and he's all dressed up in a costume and he comes to leap towards her and he jumps a little too high and gets beheaded. And in another one, kids are like jumping up and down on a bed, and again, one of them jumps too high.
So, 2 myths, 2 rigs. The myth of the jumping kid calls for a rig to raise a head into the fan from below. For the myth of the lover's leap, they'll need a rig to carry a head into the ceiling fan at neck level. Which begs another question.
Wait, before you say raise a head, where are we gonna get a head?
Well, we're going to have to duplicate one. And we've often done it with ballistics gelatin, but in this case, we might have to actually put, I mean, it may be gross, but like a real spine in there. Obviously, we won't be able to get a human spine, but what I was thinking was something like a pig's spine.
While Tori tracks down a dead pig, the girls go shopping.
Scotty, what do you think they sell here?
I think this might be the place.
Think we could find some fans here?
If there is such a thing as a fan of death, it's bound to be at the imaginatively named House of Fans.
So can you show us what the most common ceiling fan you'd have that most people would have in their house?
I sure can. One of the most common ones is this one here with the lights at the bottom. It's your standard 52-inch blade fan. It's got wood blades on it.
This fan fits the bill for the basic myth, but the girls want something more dangerous. Leave it to the Mythbusters. Don't try this one at home.
If you wanted to get as close as you could to chopping somebody's head off,
Well, if I was,
what would you recommend? You are the fan expert.
Okay.
Bring it on.
If I was so inclined to do that to somebody, I would maybe think of an industrial style fan, something that's going to maybe move a little bit faster, blades are a little bit stronger.
Brian boasts one particularly head-turning industrial fan, complete with powerful motor and metal blades. It's love at first sight for these chopaholics.
That one looks really dangerous.
I think that one's scary, and we can make it even scarier. It has metal blades.
Oh boy, what we can do with this.
Back at base, the hunter returns.
All right, let's see it.
I hope you guys are hungry, because I got 150 pounds of pork.
Are you serious?
You guys are gonna love this.
Oh boy.
Vegetarian Carrie didn't have the backbone for this shopping trip.
Vegetarian,
Thank you for not making me go.
You wanted to use pig.
It was pretty bad. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Look, this is gonna be perfect. See, it's still got all its meat, so it'll be as close to a real human neck as we could get.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to get like just a science class regular spine that just looks like a model. I didn't think we were getting anything with carnage attached.
Go get some barbecue sauce.
I can't believe they got a spine with the meat on it. This is disgusting.
Carrie's found herself in a vegetarian nightmare. Carnivorous Tori gets down to the job of making a home for the pig spine. In keeping with Mythbusters tradition, it'll be Adam's head on the chopping block. In a previous episode, gelatin molds of Adam's head were used to test the myth that tongue studs attract lightning. The guys discovered that you're only sure to light up if you're sporting a piercing the size of a doorknob. For the myth of the killer ceiling fan, the dummy's head will have to be as close to the real thing as possible. It's a gruesome prospect.
I'm gonna cut this to make it fit in our mold.
Are you gonna do that now?
Yeah, do you wanna?
Yeah.
I'm leaving the room. I'm leaving the room.
Pig spine will stiffen up the neck, but how about the head? In the myth of the jumping kid, there's no guarantee that the neck will reach the fan at all.
Now what about skull? Because I'm thinking if you're raising up and you're jumping, you're gonna have to jump so fast to get your neck up to that level that I would think it'd be more likely to get scalped.
Absolutely, and so probably some human cranium. We've done this before when we did penny
cranium?
drop.
We have human cranium?
I have the human cranium in storage, yeah.
You would.
We have one of everything at Mythbusters.
While the others plot the dummy's internal structure, squeamish Carrie busies herself with making molds in the vacuform machine.
Once we get them out like this, we're going to glue both of these negatives together, put them upside down, fill them with ballistics gel, a little bit of cranium, and a spine that should emulate the insides of a human.
Using his special effects know-how, Tori makes latex arteries, which are filled with fake blood. In the interests of scientific accuracy, of course.
This is the artery. When that blade comes flying through there, blood is gonna spray all over the room. Kind of reminds me of Alien, when the thing pops out of the guy's stomach and shoots across the table.
It's alive!
This is so bizarre. This is so bizarre.
Carrie's nightmare deepens as the ghoulish head takes shape. Next step, skin. A coating of latex is painted on the insides of the molds. In goes the cranium. The molds are then filled with ballistics gel, used by forensic experts to replicate flesh and tissue. And finally, Carrie's favorite, arteries and spine.
That is one of the grossest things I think I have ever witnessed. Oh my God, that actually worked out pretty good, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
The heads are left to set in ice, and the build team return to the problem of the rigs that will deliver them into the fans. Never one to shun a shortcut, Tori makes a beeline for Jamie.
So what I need is some kind of hydraulic lifter.
You know what I've got is a thing that we built for a commercial some time ago, and it was made to lift a little kid up into frame on camera.
That'll be perfect.
It's like 50, 60 pounds, I believe we had sitting on it.
That's perfect, because I mean, the myth is that somebody jumped, on a bed and jumped into the ceiling fan.
Jamie's scissor jack saves Tori a load of time and effort. Meanwhile, Scotty and Carrie scout out a test chamber. Scotty manufactures the rig for the myth of the lover's leap. A track and dolly to carry the head neck first into the blades. First up on the Mythbusters chopping block,
I'm gonna feed you the wires first.
Okay.
Will be the common household ceiling fan.
Okay.
Once it's in place, Tori checks that the scissor jack is positioned at the correct level.
This lift is about 1.5 feet. So that'll give us enough lift to get it safely into the, or unsafely, into the fan.
Adam swings by death row to lighten the mood.
I feel like I'm in Laugh-In here. Bye, guys. That's See you guys later.
All right, man. Thanks for helping us.
Finally, bulletproof plastic is fitted to protect the team while they observe the experiments from outside the test chamber. The stage is set. The dummy is unveiled.
That is nasty.
In the myth of free energy, Adam's been deflated by the discovery that his temperature wheel leaks gas. He's on a collision course with his welder, Scotty.
I've got a bone to pick with you. We tried filling these things with propane today.
Because I can smell it.
Yeah, it's leaking out of your weld.
Scotty protests that she didn't know Adam intended to fill the tanks with propane.
Well, first I said that I needed gas-tight welds from you. The people that filled this want nothing more to do with this.
Sorry.
Well, it looks like every possible thing that could be failing on my rig is actually failing. And I know this seems consistent, but there was a time I was really good at making things. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh. Thank you both.
Adam comes up with an unusual solution to his leaking wheel.
I am actually pulling a vacuum on each one of these pipes so that I can capillary some glue into the leaky or problematic areas of my welds and then cover over it with a engine epoxy to eliminate all the problems you would have welding a casting to a steel pipe. Crazy glue. I need crazy glue.
On goes the crazy glue, followed by some hard-wearing engine epoxy. For the temperature wheel to have any chance of success, it must be gas tight. Adam leaves the epoxy to set and turns his power-crazed mind to the next free energy device.
What is next?
The Bedini motor.
The Bedini motor. You know, the Bedini motor is like the holy grail of the free energy freaks.
It couldn't be simpler. A battery drives a motor, which spins up a flywheel, which charges wire coils, which in turn recharge the battery. And bingo, a perpetual motion or over-unity machine.
It's important to keep an open mind and realize that all the principles that drive the over-unity machines operate outside of everything you've ever heard about science.
MIT's Dr. Geo Holmesy has been helping the guys by assembling the contraption. And with his pedigree, they're quickly in business.
Free energy, man.
Here we go. Activate the modulator.
Modulator activated.
A modulator switches the motor on and off, so preserving power while the flywheel keeps on spinning. In theory, replenishing the battery.
Okay, it's spinning up. I can hear it getting slower.
Yeah, it seems to be.
I don't think I need a meter for this one.
In a sudden burst of free energy, the Bedini machine runs down.
Sounds like my grandfather.
Oh, getting sick. It's draining more from the battery on each cycle than it's putting back in when it recharges.
That's the one big problem with perpetual motion machines. They're not perpetual.
Over unity, huh?
That's an efficiency of over 100%.
Kind of makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, don't it?
If you mean it makes me feel like I feel about the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus, yeah, that kind of warm and fuzzy, because it's a fantasy!
The fortunes of free energy are now riding on the re-glued temperature wheel. If it comes unstuck, Adam's dreams of glory bite the dust.
But nothing is leaking today. Everything is good.
The temperature wheel stands in a tank of water, which will be heated by studio lights in place of the sun. Jamie's baffled by Adam's creation.
I don't know what to think of this contraption. I think in theory it actually ought to work, as I understand it, but you know, actually come to think of it, I'm not really sure that I do understand it.
The idea behind the Minto wheel is that these tanks are arranged in pairs, each one connected to its neighbor opposite the wheel. And there's some propane in here. Propane is a terrific natural refrigerant and a coolant. It's got a boiling point that's below room temperature. So there's some propane in here, and when we heat it up with the water, it bubbles up into this tank, making it heavier. And as each one successively does that and gets heavier, the wheel starts turning. This is the idea. We'll see if it actually works.
And before your very eyes, free energy is revealed to be as elusive as ever.
I'm not getting satisfactory operation out of my wheel here. Come on. It's not happening. I think I need to abandon the water because I think the propane tanks going through the water isn't working.
The guys decide to change tactics and heat the tanks directly with the lights.
Okay, so it starts to move.
Adam just can't keep his hands off.
Well,
I know, I'm impatient.
We know this.
I don't want it to get too hot. Oh, I'm seeing something. Is it moving? What do you think?
Trying to determine whether, I think I'm seeing it move really slowly. It's going this way.
With all the speed of continental drift, the wheel is turning.
I get a full revolution. I call this a solar generator. I don't care how slow it goes. Come on,
it's breaking free.
It's breaking free of the bonds of the energy conglomerates.
It's just slow, you know, it's silly.
We're now working on almost 3/4 of a full revolution. It is the slowest machine I've ever seen go, but it is going, and it's working on thermal energy. I don't think this is the kind of thing that's going to end up powering a generator at your house. I mean, the fastest machine that anyone's built from this, and I know I'll be corrected on this, but that I could research, the fastest machine yet built was like 1 revolution per minute. I mean, that's not a blistering energy producing speed. You know, maybe you could, I don't know what you could do, you know, fan your sheep or something at that speed.
A solar sheep fan is hardly a revolution in power generation, and it's not even free energy. Strictly speaking, the temperature wheel is just an overly elaborate and highly inefficient solar generator. Free energy, hot air.
So free energy across the board, busted.
Yeah, they're totally and absolutely busted. You know, it just frustrates the heck out of me going through these plans. They're so confusing. They're so difficult to actually follow because they're mixing actual science with a lot of crap.
Nonetheless, we were able to do it with a reasonable number of tests, and I'd say it's busted, 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 and I don't want to get an email about it.
Back at the myth of the killer ceiling fan, the ballistics gel head, together with pig spine, human cranium, and latex arteries and skin, is strapped onto the scissor jack. Adams never modeled for such a realistic dummy. The older, wiser heads decide to test out the rig and find it comes up short.
No!
Who measured this?
That would have sucked.
Adam can't believe his eyes.
Where do you want it to hit? About like there?
I, for one, thought nobody would have built this whole rig without double checking where the head's going to fall on the fan. I mean, who would do that? Apparently, they would do that. This is the first thing Jamie or I would have thought of. But yeah, it's okay, you know, they're learning, they're good kids.
Put the box right on there and be ready.
A sheepish Tory raises the head.
I don't know who measured that. I'm gonna really give it to him.
Yeah, why don't you give it to him when you find out?
When I find out. All right, gonna seal the chamber.
The fan spins up to top speed, which they calculate to be 26 miles per hour using a tachometer. At last, the head is in place for myth number 1. Jumping up into a household fan from below. Don't try this at home.
Everybody ready?
Ready.
Ready?
So ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The head is rocked, but it doesn't roll.
It really didn't have much of an impact. It didn't cut through the ballistics gel, didn't crack the skull open.
That actually surprises me because this stuff is not quite as tough as muscle, but it certainly held together for this.
The household fan spins too fast for the head to reach neck level, but too slow to do any real damage. The dummy takes the blows on the top of the head, and the blades just bounce right off. Myth number 1 is busted. Time for myth number 2, the lover's leap.
All right, we're ready for this experiment here. We're gonna push this head straight in at the fan, right at the neck level. We got this track set up. We got a rope around this pulley going out to the wall to our control panel, and we're just gonna pull the rope, sending this guy straight into the fan.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh. That's the last we saw of that ceiling fan.
Broke the fan.
There's no damage on the neck whatsoever.
Not even a hickey?
Nothing.
This time, the dummy gets a sore throat, but kept its head. When it comes to a household fan, both myths are busted. It's time to step things up a gear. Bring on the industrial fan.
Wow. It's like a little tornado down here.
A lot more power.
That's why we want to get this one. It's like a little tornado. The blades are like little knives, and it goes so much faster than the regular fan.
All right.
In fact, it goes 54 miles per hour, twice as fast as the household fan. Will this one prove deadly? Once again, they test the jumping up from below myth first.
2, 1.
Oh, chunks! Yes! All right. Oh, that did some damage. There. Oh! That's got to be at least a concussion. At least a concussion, maybe a fracture.
And certainly a bloody nose. This time the dummy really takes a hit from the high-speed metal blades.
He got, look, he cracked into his skull.
A little fracture.
That's skull. And it definitely made a mark in the skull.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it might not kill you, but you wouldn't want to have this happen to you.
No kidding. Jumping up into an industrial fan is a bad idea, period. Next in line, the big one. Hold on to your hats. We're going neck first.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, jugular!
Oh.
We splattered the walls with blood. All right, I want to see the high speed.
Oh, that was some good horror movie stuff.
The team's special effects expertise is paying dividends.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Oh. Crack!
You don't really want to see this one, do you?
Look at the blood flying.
Oh my God!
Really?
So brutal.
It not only sliced his artery, it went in for a second round and just chopped the extra.
I'll go on.
The fan actually sliced through his neck, through the jugular, and even into the vertebrae. I mean, that says deadly to me.
Deadly, but not decapitation. Myth still busted.
So this is the most powerful fan you can buy. And obviously it wasn't enough power, so now we have to create our own fan. And I think we're gonna start with a lawnmower.
This dummy's head is coming off. The plan is to suspend a lawnmower engine from the ceiling, attach large, razor-sharp blades, and let it rip. Scotty fashions the blades from sheet metal, and there's no room for error.
So right now I'm using the edge finder and the digital readout to find the exact center of our blades, which is very important because if we don't get this thing centered, it's very likely that it will blow apart and go sending blades flying into the wall, possibly through the wall where we're standing.
While Scotty finds dead center, Tori rigs up the housing for the lawnmower engine. Scotty adds the final deadly touch. This should be a real close shave.
Oh yes, nice and sharp. I think his head's gonna fly right off.
The homemade blades are attached.
That looks so good.
Then a finishing touch from a team player.
So I'm gonna make the ultimate sacrifice here. As long as you're gonna do it with me, let's make sure everyone knows who it is. There we go. All right. You'll have to tell me how it turns out because I can't see a damn thing.
Judging by the Coke bottles on this thing, he can't see a thing either.
Tori starts up the fan. With the heavy blades, it takes some turning over.
It's getting faster.
It looks pretty deadly.
It does, and pretty balanced. Nice work. You guys ready? And 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Look at it! Look at it!
Oh, that is horrifying.
Brace yourselves for a slice of slow-mo.
Oh, dude, it's just going right through. Wow.
What happened?
It's a horror show in there. Oh, and now it's just carving it up. Look, glasses hovering in midair. Wait, here they come, here they come.
I hope you didn't even add an extra pair.
Oh, that is so great.
This head is dead, but the spine is still intact.
It didn't decapitate him, but it's definitely a deadly blow.
Scotty and Tori, this one goes into the Mythbusters Hall of Fame. I mean, this is perhaps one of the most upsettingly lethal things you guys have ever built.
But still no head. I can't believe how hard it is to chop a head off.
It is apparently very difficult to chop a head off. This injury that this thing inflicted was definitely lethal, but it still didn't behead our dummy. I mean, I think that's busted.
That is busted.
Unfortunately.